Hello, testing 1, 2, 3.
What the?
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it. That was Scary D. You sounded like the a character in the movie, the scary movie Mom and I watched last night. Have you seen Heretic?
No. Probably.
It was scary.
Yeah.
But there's a character who was like, she was struggling
No.
and made those noises.
I'm also struggling, so parallel in our lives.
The noise of struggle.
Guess, please slap my butt.
Oh my God, buddy. All right, give us our intro.
Hello and welcome to Time of Death. I'm your host, Dee.
And I'm your other host, Ris.
And don't forget our third host.
Hi there, I'm Barbara.
He jumped away.
What was done now?
Oh my God, you're really mocking me. Oh, you're mocking me? So, join us as we delve into the dark side of human nature tonight.
For those of you that are new here, we are two nurses that love to talk true crime. We like to focus on cases that have a heavy medical influence to them, or cases that feature a medical professional as the perpetrator or victim.
Thank you, Ris. Well said, as usual, because we say the same spiel every week.
Yeah, have it down.
Yes, and tonight's episode is going to cover a case from Detroit in the prestigious Boston Edison neighborhood. Didn't ring any bells for me either, so this is so I was like, Boston, I don't know what, but apparently it's a really hoity-toity area.
Boston in Detroit?
No, Boston Edison neighborhood.
Oh. I was like, wait,
There's a Boston
inside of Detroit, Michigan?
Well, you know how there's like a little Italy in New York and like a little like Chinatown,
A tiny Boston.
blossoming Boston in Detroit. Anyways, in this neighborhood, a beloved neurosurgeon, Dr. Devon Hoover, was found brutally murdered in his historic mansion. All right. Any thoughts before I jump right into it?
No, just sounds like the opening to a scary movie or a horror.
So Dr. Hoover's murder stunned the Detroit community and really had an impact across the country, because I heard about this back when this initially transpired in 2023.
Okay.
It shook not only the community, but family, friends, his colleagues. He was only 53, and his whole life had been dedicated to helping others. And for his life to just end so abruptly and tragically is really, really awful.
How old was he?
He was 53.
Oh, sorry.
53. He was actually scheduled to visit his mom, who was not doing well, in Indiana. And he did not show up when he was supposed to, which was very much unlike him. His family reached out, what's going on? Are you okay? They heard nothing back from him, so they requested a welfare check at his home in Detroit. This was very much unlike him, but this is also very tragic because his mom was on her deathbed.
Oh my God.
At this time. Yep, she had cancer. So just especially tragic because, you know, his mother was not able to peacefully transition at that point, you know, not knowing what was going on with her son. So This is especially horrible. And then there's enough stress in the family already. You know, tensions are high. Death is hard.
Oh my God. You know, it's like already a really shitty situation, and now it's just magnified because of this.
Absolutely.
That's so sad.
So when the police arrived to do the wellness check, they previously had located his white Range Rover that was just not at home. The exact location has not been disclosed. I looked at a couple different sources. They mentioned a mall, another house in the neighborhood. But it was not really clear where the police found the car. But apparently it was not in the driveway. Eventually, they got inside the house, and inside the mansion, they ended up finding his body, wearing only socks, hidden in an attic crawl space, wrapped in a blood-soaked carpet. He had been shot twice in the head. And it was a shocking and deeply disturbing scene for the officers and, again, the Detroit community as a whole, because this is clearly a homicide at this point.
Wait, where was his body found?
In a hidden attic crawl space.
At his home?
At his home. An autopsy confirmed that he had been shot twice in the head again, and the manner of death was unsurprisingly ruled as a homicide. This wasn't just an accident or a burglary. Burger.
A burger.
Burger.
Gone wrong.
Or a burglary gone wrong. It was a very deliberate and brutal killing. All right. So investigators began piecing Investigators began piecing, not piercing, the clues together, and they discovered that there was a complex web of personal relationships within Dr. Hoover's life. And this is just strictly the facts. I'm not allowing any type of ignorance.
Good. Here we are, given straight facts.
At the center of this intricate web was a man named Desmond Burks, a 34-year-old Detroit resident with whom Dr. Hoover had exchanged thousands, and I mean over 4,000, text messages over several months.
Can you hand me a broccoli again? Hand me a broccoli.
Did you hear that? 4,000.
Over a course of what?
Months. Couple months.
That's significant texting.
That's significant. That's a lot of texts. Through the messages, investigators found evidence of an intimate and tumultuous relationship. Prosecutors alleged that Burks would charge Dr. Hoover for varying sexual services. The nature of the relationship, very murky, but prosecutors believe that Burks had a financial motive behind his interactions and dealings with Dr. Hoover.
Okay.
Data from Dr. Hoover's cell phone placed Burks at the scene of the crime at the time of the murder. Police believed Burks traveled from Hoover's home back to his own neighborhood before he eventually abandoned Dr. Hoover's vehicle, the white Range Rover.
So they're fully convinced that it's Burks at this time.
The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that Burks was not only close to Dr. Hoover, but might have seen the relationship as a financial opportunity for him. Prosecutors alleged that Burks took advantage of the doctor's trust and personal struggles. Keep in mind at this time his mom was dying.
Mm-hmm. He's very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. And Burks was really vying to get access to Dr. Hoover's considerable wealth. In the days following the murder, investigators found multiple fraudulent transactions that were made using Dr. Hoover's accounts, and he was deceased at that point. Among the items missing from his home, Dr. Hoover's home, were 2 expensive designer watches, one of which he had bought the day before he was killed. The watches were later found in Burke's possession while the police searched his property. The circumstantial evidence painted a very clear picture of betrayal and greed. And it's really unfortunate because later on, Dr. Hoover's home was targeted by thieves. It's just it's a violation on top of a tragedy. Also, I mentioned earlier that it was a mansion. In August of 2024, the home actually sold for the highest sale price in all of Detroit in its history. It is called the Benjamin Siegel Mansion, which is an 11,000 square foot Intelliante mansion, which was designed by Albert Kahn, and it sold for just under $2 million. So this doctor was very wealthy.
Intelliante.
Italiante.
Italian?
Italiante.
Italian?
It means, let me look it up. I just saw Italiante. An Italiante house were popular in the United States from the 1850s to 1880s, characterized by sloping roofs with deep eaves supported by decorative brackets. They have low-pitched gable roofs, arched windows and doors, and tower forms. The exterior is typically made of brick, stone, or stucco. All I know, I saw a picture of this Italiante mansion online, and it was beautiful. It's like this pale whitish color. Look up the Benjamin Siegel mansion.
How do you spell seagull? Like a seagull?
Siegel.
Wow, that is beautiful. That's huge.
It's huge. 11,000 square feet.
Oh my God, it's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, look at those giant windows.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. It's stunning.
Beautiful sunrooms. It has a very upfront look to it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
So that really...
What is it, stone?
I'm not sure what it is. Maybe stucco. I don't know, but it's beautiful. So for Dr. Hoover, who had dedicated his entire life to helping other people, this relationship may have been one of misguided trust. With mounting evidence, Burks was charged with first-degree murder, possession of a firearm by a felon because of his previous charge, and larceny over $20,000. Using a computer to commit a crime, which I didn't even know was a charge, and possession of a weapon by a felon, and that's the same thing as firearm, but and 3 counts of second offense felony firearm. He is currently on a $1 million bond at Wayne County Jail.
So this is pending trial.
Dollars.
This is pending trial.
Yes. The case involved interviews with nearly 90 witnesses, 300 pieces of evidence, 134 search warrants, and countless hours of video footage from security cameras and police body cameras. More than 70 law enforcement officers helped crack this case. This is like a massive effort.
He's not convicted of killing the doctor yet.
He has had charges brought against him. During the investigation, Burke's past raised a lot of red flags. So Dr. Hoover was murdered in 2023. And afterwards, he ended up in April 2024 being linked to a violent death involving an elderly man. Again, showcasing a history of dangerous behavior. This had to do with road rage. During this point, it's alleged that Burks ended up punching this poor old man after he bumped into his car, left the man unconscious in the middle of the street. The police brought this elderly man to the hospital where he later passed away as a result of his injuries sustained during that altercation. He was charged with second-degree murder. At that point, he was arraigned, sitting a $1 million bond with the condition that he wear a GPS tether and remain under house arrest. Beyond the courtroom, Dr. Hoover's murder has left a very deep wound in the community as a whole. He was remembered as a dedicated neurosurgeon, beloved by colleagues and patients, and his murder has rightfully so raised questions about safety and trust in personal relationships. Detroit seems to be reeling as a whole.
Dang, this is so recent too.
Very recent. Dr. Hoover's family described him as an exceptional man, a doctor, brother, son, uncle, and friend who invested in our lives with unwavering kindness and generosity. Although nothing will ever reverse our loss, we are grateful that someone will be held accountable for his death.
So when is trial set to take place, do you know?
Asking the good questions. So the latest update is he entered a plea of not guilty and was remanded to Wayne County Jail. He will be back in court for a probable cause conference August 15th. Even after his passing, Dr. Hoover's legacy lives on as one of a gifted healer. But his story is also a reminder of how quickly trust can be broken, and even those who appear strong and successful are very vulnerable. So just as a word of caution, be very careful who you trust. Be careful who you bring into your life. Not everyone has the good intentions. And that's my 2 cents. I was really proud of this case.
I think that I agree with you. You never know someone's true intentions. And also people can, a lot of the times they can fake, having redeeming qualities and, being a pretty solid person. But at the end of the day, they might be a little fishy.
Sketch.
And of course, this is all alleged. So allegedly.
What would you like to say, Ma? Don't disturb the cat.
I just want to say that everyone is vulnerable. Even someone who seems there as if they're not. We're all vulnerable, and we should always try to keep our senses. And even though it can be difficult, emotions sometimes can hide and mask things, and sometimes we see what we want to see. But I hope we all remember that we have to be good to each other. We have to be kind to each other, because we're all battling our own battles, and that's why we're created, to help each other.
And you know what else? Especially when someone's in a intimate relationship, like it seems like Devon and Desmond, it seemed to be like they were in an intimate relationship with one another, a romantic relationship, or at least sexual relationship. Those lines can get even more blurry, and you can have rose-colored glasses and not see people for who they really are.
So true. With rose-colored glasses, every flag is a red flag.
Or pink.
Pink. Okay.
A pink flag.
Rosé flag.
Rosé.
Fuchsia. All right. That is all I got this week. There was a lot of people with a really hateful rhetoric as well about, some really intolerant views regarding people's sexuality. I just want to reiterate that this is a safe place. We will not be allowing any type of talk like that on our carefully moderated Instagram. And I think it really comes down to also sex work. That's a very stigmatized topic as well. And we want everyone to make it very clear that we are a sex positive podcast. That we do not judge anyone's lifestyle. We do judge killers, but beyond that, anyone's choices in their own life is just exactly that. It's their own, and we will not be speculating on anyone's sexuality or lifestyle decisions or career.
Well said, Dee. Well said. All right, everyone, you ready to call it?
I am ready to call it. It is 18:32. That is 6:32 for all you non-medical, military folks. Any final thoughts?
Nope, not here. I think you covered it all, and this was a good case, interesting and recent case that sheds light on some harder matters. So, and it's pretty sad too. He was going on his way to his mom's deathbed when this happened to him. So I feel terrible for his family, and
It's tragic.
very sad. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Stay safe out there.
Bye.
Bye.